Our journey began back in October 2020.
I can see the splat.
You see him?
I can't see him, I can see a splat.
It's Orca, but I don't know if it's him. It is him!
Coe and Aquarius belong to a pod of Orca known as the West Coast Community. Since 2016, they are the only individuals to be seen from this pod. These North Atlantic Type 2 orca range mostly on the west coast of Scotland and frequently visit Irish waters.
Can't believe we've seen them.
Coe and Aquarius were even seen as far down as Cornwall in 2021. The West Coast Community Pod were first recorded in the early 1980s, and at the time they were seen eating both seals and fish. These orca have always been thought to prey on cetaceans, including minke whales and porpoises, with the post-mortem of Moon finding minke whale baleen in his stomach. However, the pod has been observed on a number of occasions eating fish. The pod was known to follow herring and mackerel in Loch Dunvegan by locals in the 1980s. They also used to see the pod annually in Loch Gale during salmon runs until the salmon numbers decreased, and they were then observed feeding on cetaceans and seals. Coe and Aquarius are both huge bull orcas, and they are a very distinctive pair who are mostly sighted together. Aquarius has a tall, chunky dorsal fin, of which the tip points slightly backwards. Coe can be distinguished by a large notch that is missing at the base of his dorsal fin. His fin is also very tall and bends over to one side. Coe is thought to be 60 years old, with Aquarius thought to be the younger of the two and possibly half Coe's age. Here is a list of all the members of the West Coast Community Pod. It is thought that the rest of the pod are dead, since they haven't been seen since 2016. However, we like to think they are out there somewhere, living offshore. One confirmed death is of Lulu, whose body washed up on Teary in 2016. So we're here in Granton in Edinburgh, and we've come up in order to see the skull of Lulu, which is held in the National Museum Collection Centre.
We're really thankful for Zena giving us a tour around.
Yeah.
We're really grateful, it was really cool.
It was really good, so thank you so much for letting us come.
So Lulu was a member of the West Coast Community, and unfortunately in 2016 she washed up on the west coast on Teary, and that was due to fishing entanglement. So yeah.
She also had like a very high concentration of PCBs, meaning that she also has never had a calf, and it could have affected quite a lot of her development. But it was really interesting to get to go and see her skull and get a bit closer to another member of the West Coast pod, not just the two boys.
Definitely. And no one knows for sure, but she is thought to be around maybe 30 years old.
Yeah.
So that's possibly 30 years younger than Coe.
It was nice to be able to get so close to Lulu. Her skull and the rest of her skeleton are held in the collection centre for research. However, she was on display to general public for a short period of time before being stored here. She is lying next to a bull orca who was also found dead on the west coast of Scotland at South Uist in 2015. There was no identification to go along with this specimen, but judging from the size of this skull, he would have been very impressive. This is actually quite sad because this is Lulu, which is part of the West Coast pod. She at one point would have been swimming around with Coe and Aquarius, and then she was found dead in 2016. And that's her skull. She's one of them. It was really interesting to go and visit and have a look round, and also see some of the other cetacean skulls they've got there. Yeah. They've got so many.
There's so much on show. It was really good look around.
It was really interesting. The National Museum's Collection Centre is a specialist facility that is home to a large collection of cetacean specimens. Most of the material in the collection has been gathered since the mid-1800s from a variety of sources, and most is held here for research purposes. The species the collection holds include orca, sperm whales, humpback whales and beaked whales, including northern bottlenose whales, just to name a few. The Collection Centre works in conjunction with the Scottish Marine Animal Stranding Scheme to collect samples and specimens of recently stranded cetaceans around the UK shores for research purposes, hence why they hold and care for Lulu. So once again, we'd like to just say a huge thank you to Zena at the museum for letting us come and meet Lulu.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
In May 2021, we headed back to Neistpoint, hoping it would be just as easy as our encounter the previous year. We were so wrong and had some very frustrating news. This morning we got down here about 7:30. We've been here for a few hours, we haven't seen anything at all. And then we saw the news that Coe and Aquarius have been sighted, so we were really excited and also pleased that they have been sighted because they haven't been seen for quite a few months now, about 6 months since sort of October last year when we saw them. So we were actually really pleased that we know that they are still around. We were really excited, but then we found out where they had been sighted, which was the bad news. And they'd been sighted in Cornwall. Since we thought we had no chance of seeing the boys, we headed to johnogroats, a 6-hour journey, to chase up reports of the 27's orca pod that had recently been sighted there.
So we've made our way up to johnogroats because obviously Coe and Aquarius have been on their holidays down to Cornwall, so we've got pretty much no chance of seeing them. And there has been a lot of recent orca sightings around here. Knowing our luck, they'll probably end up at Skye or something like that. But yeah, we're going to give it a shot, and hopefully by the end of this trip we'll have some orca shots.
Hopefully, we'll see. Little did we know that Coe and Aquarius had been powering back up to Scotland after being seen at Cornwall and were seen at Waternish Point on the Isle of Skye that night. We were absolutely devastated and attempted to head straight back there overnight to arrive the next morning. However, our luck got even worse and our van broke down. We were determined to see Coe and Aquarius, so while the van was getting repaired in Inverness, we hired a car and drove from where we were staying in Inverness 3 hours across the country back to Neistpoint for the next 3 days in a row to try and see the boys. So we're on our second day trip to the Isle of Skye. We drove from Inverness this morning. We've been here all day. It's about 6:30 now, but this morning we didn't realise Coe and Aquarius were actually just seen off the end of those islands over there. We've been waiting here all day in the hope of seeing them, and they were literally just over there, but we didn't see them because they're really far away. So now we're really gutted to be leaving. It's such nice weather, which makes such a change for how it has been over the last 2 weeks, and yeah, we have to leave and we have to go all the way back to Inverness. It's like a 3-hour drive just because we've got nowhere else to stay. So we feel really sad and really gutted because this might have been one of the opportunities to actually see him. Yeah, we're pretty gutted. We didn't end up encountering Coe and Aquarius on these trips, but we did see something really amazing. So we're walking back to the van after spending the evening down on the rocks at Neistpoint, and we've seen loads and loads of minke whales, which is so exciting. And one of them was actually breaching, it jumped out of the water like a torpedo, like numerous times, didn't it? Just kept jumping all the way along South Uist. So it was so exciting to see. We haven't seen anything like that before, so we were really happy to.
We've always wanted to see a minke whale breaching, but we never thought we'd actually see one, especially here in Scotland.
Yeah, we're really chuffed that we actually managed to see it. We're on our way back to the Isle of Skye.
We've had such a morning this morning, and it's pouring now with rain. And
as usual, on the way to Scotland.
Yes, and we're stuck in traffic.
Charlotte's just been asleep while I've been driving for 3 hours.
Yes, we've had a really early morning, so we're just absolutely exhausted. Everything's gone wrong, so we're just pleased to actually be in the car, well, in the van, and on our way. We arrived late and were then welcomed the next morning with typical neistpoint weather. So we've had our first night at Neistpoint and it's been a bit challenging to say the least. It was a bit of a rough one. We arrived here and the winds are so strong. And then the rain was just torrential rain. Obviously it sounds a lot louder on the tin roof that we're in. It's just been the same all today as well. It hasn't got any sort of better. The fierce waves were crashing against the rocks right in front of where we were standing, making it hard to spot anything passing by. So we're back for our second day at Neistpoint. Thankfully the rain has held off and we've been joined by this lovely rainbow. Hopefully it's a sign of good things to come today. As usual at Neist, the weather turned out for the worst and we were met with gale force winds. The wind was so strong it was making the waterfalls blow back on themselves. A cliff top walk in these conditions probably wasn't the best idea. Despite the horrific conditions, we were determined to see the boys, so day after day we continued the long walk down to Neistpoint. We're sheltering from the rain. I'm not sure we're doing a very good job.
I feel that's all we've been doing today, just sheltering in different spots.
I think we have.
We've got a nice rainbow over there though.
I'll show you the rainbow.
Rainbows are all we seem to be seeing on this trip so far. Rainbows and rain.
Yeah. Although we did see a seal very briefly, didn't we, surfing in the waves?
Enjoying the crashing wave.
Yeah, that's about it though.
Back to the rain.
It seemed all we were accomplishing sitting out at Neistpoint was getting absolutely drenched, so we decided to go for a walk just around the headland at Loch Poolteal. So just as we were leaving, we noticed a big, well, what looked like a really big blow, or like a really big spray of air.
Seeing as though we didn't see any of the animal and we didn't see it surface again or any more blows, we think it probably was a humpback.
Yeah.
And it's just gone off into the distance up there.
Yeah. We haven't seen anything at all, so that really probably could have been the only thing that we think it could have been, but it didn't look like a wave, and I think it must have surfaced and blown and the wind just like caught it and really like made it really obvious. That's exciting. It's a bit of excitement, but it's a shame we didn't see the body that it belonged to.
We just caught the end of the blow, so we didn't see the actual animal surface. All we saw was all the mist just travelling.
Yeah.
And because we didn't see it again, we just think it's probably a humpback.
Probably.
As they're seen quite often further up on the Outer Hebrides, up north.
Yeah, we're getting closer. We headed back to Neistpoint with a few tumbles along the way. We're back at Neistpoint with our double or triple layers on. Nick looks like he's working for the council. See, this morning there was actually a report of a fin whale just off Triumphant Head, just right at the top of Lewis. So the blow that we saw yesterday, it could have been a fin whale, just adds another cetacean into the mix. So you never know. It could have been that, which is quite exciting, but we still didn't see it, so we can't really say for sure. The waves are still crashing and we're getting covered in spray. But it's not rain that's getting us, it's the waves. The rain was getting too much, so we decided to take shelter in the van. After a trip to pick up some supplies, we came across hundreds of toads and frogs on the road. We love animals and there was no way that we were going to risk running any over, so we made sure none were in the way while getting wet once again. The days were starting to add up and blend together. We weren't having luck with any sightings at all. Unfortunately, one of the reasons for this was that NATO War Games was taking place while we were there. The exercises and sonar they use while in the area often means it's very quiet on the whale and dolphin front. Sonar waves can result in devastating situations for whales, including bleeding from the eyes and ears and also beaching themselves to get away from sonar sounds, which can and often does result in death. Nick's just taking some videos or some photos of some naval ships that are going past. There's about 5 of them all going past at the same time. You can see them quite clearly on the horizon. It should be the end of war games or like the NATO sort of war exercise. So we're not too sure why they're still here, but hopefully they're just passing through and they're not using their sonar and affecting all the whales and dolphins that are around. We haven't seen any whales or dolphins today, so hopefully that has nothing to do with it. So we've had a 9-hour day down on the rocks.
We still haven't seen a thing yet, but we're not giving up. We're going to keep at it. And then hopefully one of these long days we'll see 2 big blackfin.
Fingers crossed. We'll keep looking, keep trying.
just seen a minke whale. Our first whale of the trip. We're so pleased.
Quite far out though, so we didn't manage to get any pictures yet, but you never know, it might pop up again and hopefully a bit closer.
Fingers crossed a bit closer so we can get a bit of footage.
It's a nice big seal as well, which is just in front of us, so we got a little clip of that.
Yeah.
At least.
At least we got something. But we're just pleased we've seen a whale.
Yeah.
Finally. Minke whales can be seen very close to the rocks at Neistpoint. It's incredible to be able to see such amazing animals like these so close up and from land. They are the smallest of the baleen whales found in the UK waters, measuring around 10 metres when fully grown. Despite the weather, we still tried our best to get down to the rocks as much as we could. So this trip is really pushing our limits. We're sat behind a rock because it's just so windy and rainy. There's just thick fog, we can't see anything. We've had pretty much like nearly 2 weeks of just gale force winds and rain, like torrential rain. It just makes it so difficult sitting outside waiting for them to come past. It was not like this last October. We weren't sat like this last October. We were in t-shirts and it was so much sunnier and brighter. We could actually be outside. We've got about 10 layers on each and it's like being in the Arctic. Hopefully it'll improve, but we're not too sure it will. The thick fog made it impossible to barely see 10 foot in front of you, never mind trying to spot fins out to sea. So welcome to our drying room. It's just been so horrific and we're absolutely drenched still from this morning.
Everything's still soaked. We've got coats on the dashboard. We've got hanging coats, we've got waterproof. We got wet stuff in the back.
We're at breaking point, I think. We've reached our limits. I mean, even if it got dry outside now, we wouldn't be able to leave the van because we've got nothing dry to put on. Everything's just drenched.
It's just been so hard this trip.
Yeah, it's been really hard. And we've been here for nearly 2 weeks. Yeah.
And we've been
hard.
We've been on the rocks as much as we can, but it's nowhere near as much as we need to be to try and spot these two guys.
Yeah. There's only so much you can see from...
And the trouble is, even if you go down onto the rocks, that's still the same view you've got, so it's just all you do is what we did this morning, go down for a couple of hours and then everything's absolutely drenched.
Yeah, and then you're paying for it for like days afterwards when you're living in a tiny space like this.
I think this might be the only orca we're going to see on this trip.
We had to take shelter in the van during the storms, but as soon as we could get back out onto the rocks, we were greeted by a furry friend who was swimming around in the rough seas. This little otter was catching a number of different fish and even brought one onto the rocks just in front of us to munch on. The otter wasn't bothered by our presence. So we're up at the crack of dawn, literally. The sun hasn't even come over the mountains yet. And well, this day, last year was actually the day that we saw Coe and Aquarius. So we're really hoping that we have the same luck today.
It's going to be any day, then hopefully it's today. It's the only day that isn't like thrashing down as well so far.
Yeah. So
it's our 19th day as well.
So we've got all the layers on, all the food, and we're just going to sit there and hope that they pass by today.
If it doesn't happen today, then I think we're out of luck.
I think so. We've given it our best shot. So let's give it this weekend, give it another try, and then we'll see. It's lovely and calm on the rocks, and as you can see, we've got such a nice sunrise as well. So just over there was where they came from last year. So I feel like we're focusing our attention over there in the hope that they appear around that corner again. We just want to even catch a glimpse of them. We'll be happy with anything at all, even in the distance. But we'll see. For the first time this trip, we've seen common dolphins.
There's a pod of around 70 to 100, so it's quite a few of them as well. They're a little far out, so yeah. I don't think the footage is amazing, but at least we've seen some.
Yeah, we're pleased we've seen some, and they were breaching quite regularly as well, so we got to see all their bodies as well as they went along the side, so that was really cool. It was amazing watching the dolphins breaching across the horizon as they made their way north up the Minch. Common dolphins are known to be very energetic and are often seen in large pods. There were between 70 to 100 on this encounter, but they are also known to form superpods, which can be made up of 1,000 individuals. Common dolphins are an offshore species, but they can be seen close ashore when they come in to feed. So although we haven't seen the boys today, we've had a pretty good day of common dolphins. We had a rare day of waking up to an almost flat calm sea, perfect conditions for spotting anything passing by. Today's the only day we've been brave enough to wear t-shirts.
The only Coe we've seen on our trip. In 21 days.
After a long day down on the rocks again, we headed back up to the hill to have a stroll along the cliff tops for the evening. You were able to get great views over Neistpoint and out towards the Outer Hebrides. While up on the cliffs, we had another encounter with common dolphins. We've seen them many times down on the rocks over the years, but it was nice to see them from a different perspective looking out from the cliffs. It is possible that the dolphins were part of the larger pod we had seen a couple of days before.
It's day 22 and I think it's mission failed because the wind's picked up again. It's pretty much gale force, it's wet, and we just don't feel like we can do any more here. We've only left Neistpoint like a couple of afternoons, and then we've even done a morning here as well on them same days. So.
Yeah, so we literally haven't, we've done everything that we could have done, but the weather just isn't letting out. We don't even think we can get down to the lighthouse today. The wind's just so strong. So, yeah, mission failed. We're really gutted. Hello! This is a video we didn't think that we were going to be making, especially not even this morning, but we're now on the road and we are driving about 12 miles. 12 miles.
I wish it was 12 miles.
That would be nice. 12 hours, sorry, all the way to Scotland. There's basically been a sighting of Coe and Aquarius, and we can't really miss the opportunity to go and try and find them.
I've been saying all week to Charlotte, if the boys get sighted, we need to just go on our days off and just try our luck and give it our best shot and try and find them.
Yeah.
We didn't have much luck last time we were there, but
We thought, well, let's give it a try. You never know. So the report said that they were seen off the Isle of Rum. They were heading southeast, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. So we are thinking probably
try our usual hot spot that we like to sit out at for months on end.
Yeah, try our normal spot, and yeah, at Neistpoint, and give that a try and see what happens. We can only try.
They have been known to go back on themselves, so even though they're going south, we've got a feeling that they might just do a U-turn and hopefully head back up north, and hopefully they arrive tomorrow.
Yes, just in time for us.
Yeah.
We're not very prepared at all for this trip. We've called into Asda, got a few supplies, mostly really unhealthy vegan food just to keep us going. We've also filled up with diesel as well, which is ridiculously expensive. We just really hope we've got everything. We've got the most important things, like our cameras, but we're just not prepared at all. Had a last minute sort out of the van and sort out the bedding and everything. Just took all the bedding off our own bed and just put it on there. So hopefully we've got everything, but camera's the most important thing, and some food.
We kept driving into the night, making our way down the dark, windy, narrow roads to Neistpoint. We were soon greeted with the typical weather that comes with arriving at Neistpoint: rain.
It's 2:20 in the morning and we've just arrived at Neistpoint. As you can see, it's pitch black.
And we're going to be up in about an hour's time.
We are.
For sunrise.
I know, it looks like probably the sun's going to rise any time. So we're going to try and get a little bit of sleep as best we can.
Let's sort the bed out, yeah.
Sort the bed out. Oh.
It's a bit of a mess in there.
It'll be our first night in the van for a little while. So we're going to go and get ourselves all sorted, I think, aren't we?
And have an hour in bed.
Have an hour sort of trying to sleep in bed. And we'll see you in the morning.
After a couple hours sleep, we were back up, getting ready to go down to Neistpoint as soon as we could to give us the best shot of seeing the boys. So yesterday morning, we would not have thought that this was the walk that we'd be doing on our days off.
Very familiar walk.
It is a very familiar walk. It's quite nice to be back though. We've definitely missed it after watching videos on YouTube of it all over winter. Yeah, but it's 6 AM. We're up before sunrise, probably first light, and we're heading straight down to the rocks and hopefully we have a bit of luck. The conditions for spotting any whales or dolphins are just perfect. I hope it stays like this all day, but the sea is completely flat and it's so clear at the moment as well. I hope it stays that way and I hope we get a bit of sun. There is some blue sky, but hopefully it turns into a bit of sun later on. We love this time of day here at Neistpoint because look at that sunrise. It's just perfect. Neistpoint is known to have really good sunrise and sunset, and it's really popular. People come at sunset to try and get some photos. But yeah, coming at this time in the morning, you can't really beat that. We had our binoculars out, constantly scanning the horizon, hoping to see two huge black fins piercing through the sea. It was so frustrating knowing that they had been so close to where we were just a day earlier. We've got blue sky and sunshine. It's so nice. It makes such a change. It's very rare that we've ever had weather like this here. Normally we've had gale force winds, and it did actually say moderate wind today, but there's barely any wind, and now the sun's come out. It's so lovely and warm. There's barely anybody here either. We haven't seen anyone come down, only a couple of people, so it was nice just having the place to ourselves.
Back to the Neistpoint that we know. We're about to get drenched.
We are.
And we're absolutely freezing.
We're freezing cold. The rain is coming over the sea, we can see it. The wind's picked up, there's no sun.
It's absolutely bitter.
It's bitterly cold.
And we haven't seen anything.
So,
a standard day at Neistpoint.
Yeah.
Like we've never been away.
The rain continued to batter us throughout the afternoon as we were reminded of just what Neistpoint could be like. It felt like our chances of seeing the boys were starting to slip away, yet again. It's about 5 o'clock now, so we've been down here for 11 hours now.
With 2 hours sleep.
With like under 2 hours sleep. So I think we're going to head up to the top of the cliff and have a walk along there just to watch the sunset, just to check if anything does turn up that we might have missed.
We're not giving up just yet.
Not giving up yet, but we need to get moving because we're so cold. We've sort of partly dried off from that rain shower that we had earlier, but we're feeling a bit damp and very chilled, so we need to get warm, I think, and get moving. And we've got that nice long walk ahead to warm us up. And that is where we were today. Right on the end over there.
A lot higher up now.
A lot higher up. But we've got a pretty good view, so if anything passes through, we'll be able to see them. But it's very windy and very, very cold.
So it's day 2, and as you can see, we're in the van.
It's giving us flashbacks of when we were here in October and we had all the gale force wind.
Yeah, we had gale force winds during the night, so we had to move the van. The winds haven't let off at all. It's pouring with rain.
Visibility is shocking.
Yeah, so we're going to see what the day brings, but I think it's probably going to be more rain and more wind.
I think
And
so.
not really seeing a lot, but we're seeking refuge in the van at the moment because it's just so horrible to go outside. But let's see what the day brings anyway. Looks like there's a bit of a traffic jam. So thankful that these toilets are open. Yeah, we've just popped to the toilet and we've got rid of our rubbish at the bin. And now we're going to head to Portree and try and go to the co-op if we can. So the weather has not got any better. The van feels like it's going to tip over. We've been to Portree, got a few supplies, and then we have gone for a walk along the top of the coast.
Went for a fly along the top of the coast.
Yeah, it was more of a fly.
Blown off it.
I know, it was horrendous.
As you can see, it's still the same now.
We've considered going down to the lighthouse a couple of times, but every time we've considered it, we've then looked round the corner and yeah, it's just been horrendous and the van's been rocking. It's rocking now. You probably can't even see on this, but it's horrendous. We've now got like a really bad hailstorm. It's just, we've watched it come across the sea and now it's completely swamped Neistpoint. We opened the window and it's covered in hail. It's a good job we didn't go out in that. It's day 3 and we're back down on the rocks.
We've gone over the other side today because the wind has just been absolutely horrific.
Yeah.
You don't normally get as good view as everything over this end, but you got a good view over towards like where Harris and Lewis are. So if anything was coming down that way, it'd be really good.
Yeah.
It's just if it was coming that way, our view's a bit limited, but there's only so much we can do when it's like this.
Yeah, we're just sheltering from the wind, but at least we're down here.
Yeah.
And we're trying to...
We're dry for now.
Yeah.
Probably spoke too soon there.
We are dry for now. Just hopefully the weather doesn't get any worse and hopefully something turns up for us. We're still down here.
Not giving up yet.
No, we're not giving up.
I think any normal person will have, but we're not normal. We're
No. No one else has come down here. We haven't seen a single person all day, so maybe they've got the right idea.
Yeah.
It's very, very windy and the waves are massive.
Huge.
Huge.
Just like last October, really. Well, apart from the torrential rain.
Yeah.
It's just as windy as we had it last time.
It really is. Nick's enjoying the sun and doing a bit of sunbathing. This wind is horrendous. We're moving back round to the other side of the lighthouse now. You probably can't hear me at all either, but we just need to get a bit of a break from this wind. You almost can't breathe, it's so strong. It keeps knocking us over. And yeah, making it very difficult to look out. I mean, the sun's out, you can't feel it at all because it's just so windy and absolutely freezing. Jump over the bogs. So yeah, we're going to go around the corner of the lighthouse and hopefully get a bit of a break from the wind, but we'll see.
So we've had 9 hours today down on the rocks at Neistpoint. It probably looks nice on the video, but it's been hard with the wind.
It's really hard. It's absolutely freezing cold.
We've tried sheltering behind some rocks today and we've managed to get down this part. But
Yeah.
if you can see on there, the waves are still really rough.
Yeah, very rough. I think we're going to call it a day, go and get some fuel, and then see what tomorrow brings. So we've decided to do something a little bit different today, and we're on our way to Waternish Head. You've been going on about this place for ages.
We've been here before, but when we come last time, it was, well, as you know, it was torrential rain and it was a bit horrific. I think it's still going to be quite damp and boggy, but It actually looks like a summer's day. Sometimes it's just a bit hard at neistpoint when you're just getting battered by the winds all day long, so we thought we'd go for a walk up here. It's quite a big walk as well. It is quite a big walk. I'm recording it to see how far it is. It's just up from neistpoint, so it's still like the same stretch of the Minch. It's just a little bit higher up and you get really good views of Harris over here. Yeah, and there was actually a sighting of Coe and Aquarius not too long ago from here. Yeah, it's coming over from Harris over towards Waternish. Yeah. So you never know. You never always know. Got a chance. That would be nice. My whole leg's drenched. We're doing a bit of off-roading now. We learned from the last time that when you follow the path, well, it sort of just ends all of a sudden and then you're faced with loads and loads of bogs. These glasses keep blowing off in the wind. So we've found our way to a stream. Try and navigate over the stream. Which is really cute. Really pretty. So according to my watch, we've done 2.75 miles with these ridiculously heavy bags. And we did just see the lighthouse in the distance, but we've still got quite a bit to go. I can't remember how long this walk's meant to be, but quite long, I think. So we'll see. We'll find out when we get to the other side. If we get to the other side. We can finally see the lighthouse. I'll show you. Yay! Yeah, we're looking forward to a nice sit down and some lemonade, I think. At the lighthouse! Yay! We've got our pasta with nothing on because we haven't got anything. We've got our lemonade. We don't really want to leave, but it's after 4 o'clock now and we're thinking if it's an hour and a half walk back, we probably need to get going. Still going to have a stroll along the cliffs and see if we can see anything on the way back. Yeah, hopefully we can. We'll keep our eyes peeled and we'll see. But it's been such a lovely day and it's always really sad when you have to go.
The walk along the cliffs is beautiful and we had stunning views out to the blue sea with the rare sun beaming down on us. It's an amazing feeling knowing the boys could pop up unexpected at any point. That feeling keeps us going both through the good and the bad days whilst out searching.
This view is amazing. We've just climbed up that hill or mountain. So exhausted. I can't even get my words out. But look at that view. So incredible. The sea is completely flat. So if you saw them, well, if you saw 2 blows, it'd be so obvious. They just need them to turn up now.
Waternish is one of our favourite coastal walks. How can it not be with scenery like this? The beautiful sunset topped off our day as we made our way back down the coast towards neistpoint.
We're back at neistpoint. It's incredibly windy.
It's been like the windiest it's been, I think.
Yeah, I don't think the wind's coming like directly towards us. So we're in for a fun night. It's day 5 and we're still on the rocks at neistpoint. We've come back down here again to give it another shot.
Back in the wind.
Back in the wind. The wind is very, very strong. The waves are massive behind us. Oh, as you can see. So we're going to give it a try. We're sheltered behind a rock. We've got about 1 million layers on. We're wrapped up with everything that we own. and we'll just see how long we can last it down here. Although the sun's out,
Very deceiving.
it's very deceiving. It's absolutely freezing cold. So we'll probably be doing a few walks around the rocks just to stay warm, and just hopefully something turns up for us. Even if it does, I don't think we'll see it in these waves anyway. But we'll give it a try. So we've had an update, an alert. John Coe, yeah, so
Literally
annoying.
Just our luck.
Just typical Nick and Charlotte. We've had an update saying that John Coe and Aquarius have been seen off Waternish.
Which is just to the right of where we were yesterday at Waternish.
Yeah.
And the report said they were heading towards Waternish, where we spent like all day yesterday.
Yeah, like 10 hours yesterday we were there along that coastline.
Even more annoying thing, when we got up this morning and saw the wind here, I'd actually said, should we just go to Waternish again? So if we'd have done that, then we would probably be looking at them right now,
Yeah.
this second. But no, we're still here.
We're still here, and we're further down the coast. We've changed position so that we can look in the direction that they would be coming from if they decide to follow the way like down the coastline.
Problem is,
There's a
it's
lot
just
of
still
it.
so rough as well with the waves.
Yeah.
So much white on the sea, and it's going to be hard to spot even if they do come, but
Yeah.
you do our best.
We're going to do our best. We've debated going up to Waternish now, but I think by the time we get there, they probably
They could
would have
just
passed.
Come back.
So we're going to have to stick it out. But at least we have a direction of where they are. We're just so gutted. It's
Just
just
our
so
luck.
typical. So it's just our luck. What a disaster. So yesterday when we were at Waternish, we were sat looking at the rocks in front of us and going on saying how amazing it would be if we could see John Coe and Aquarius just go past those rocks. And the guy who spotted them from Waternish has said that's pretty much where they've just gone. That's just so gutting. So we're going to get the binoculars out now anyway, so hopefully they're powering down towards us and we actually get to see them. I really, really hope so. We can only pray that they decide to come this way and not over to the Outer Hebrides and like cut us off completely.
I just saw a big fin, like there. I'm so fucking happy. Let me know if you see him. I've lost it. Come on, please let us see you again. Please don't just show up once. Coming our way. Was it? Oh yeah. Yeah, you beauty. Yeah. Yeah, mate.
There you go.
I'm so happy. Yeah.
Nick first saw Aquarius's fin right off the rocks in front of us. Soon after I saw it, followed by John Coe's fin. They then disappeared for a couple of minutes, then resurfaced a little further out, foraging in the current. We couldn't believe that 7 hours after the first sighting at the north of Skye, we were rewarded with seeing the two boys. There is nothing that comes close to seeing Orca, and there is something even more special about seeing John Coe and Aquarius.
Whoa! Yeah.
There he is, coming towards us. Yay! it's a bird.
After around half an hour surfacing in front of the lighthouse, they started to head around the point, staying in quite close to the rocks which we were standing on. The waves were crashing off the rocks, covering us in spray, but we certainly weren't complaining. We couldn't believe our last-minute trip to Skye actually paid off, and we got our reward of seeing the boys in such a short amount of time.
Five days! Woo! Yay! We've done it!
We've seen them!
We've seen them! 7 hours after the
7
initial
hours later.
report, we thought we'd lost all hope, and then out of nowhere, Nick just shouts, "They're there! I can see them!"
And it was both of them as well. When I first saw them, they weren't far off the rocks, and they were coming up the direction that we were looking this morning, and then all of a sudden they just both popped up like a couple minutes after that, and there's just nothing like it.
Incredible.
We're so happy.
We can't believe it. It's, yeah.
Like there's
So
nothing.
amazing.
We've also beat our record as well, because this is the 5th day.
Yeah.
Our previous record was 6 days. But
Yeah.
we travelled from the West Midlands to Skye to see Orca, and we did it in 5 days.
In 5 days. So we
And
can't get
2
better than that.
specific Orca as well that could literally be anywhere.
Yeah,
So we're pretty chuffed.
we're pretty chuffed. We're over the moon. They've headed off that direction. We're going to try and see if we can spot them as they kind of drift off, but the waves are so massive, we're probably not going to see them that well again. But yay, we did it! Yay! We're so happy.
We're still buzzing.
Oh, we can't believe it. We're so pleased.
Made this
So pleased.
random, unexpected trip just so worth it.
Yeah, it has. It really has. Can't believe it. We're so overjoyed.
Yeah.
But yay, we've seen them.
Maybe next time we can beat our new record of seeing them in 5 days as well.
Yeah.
One day it'd be good.
One day, yeah. We're definitely going to aim for 4.
That's the next aim, the next mission.
Next mission. See them in less than 5 days.
Mission impossible.
I think so.
Seeing Coe and Aquarius made the long ride home much easier, as we were still buzzing from our sighting. It would have been very different if we hadn't seen them though.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. I have no regrets, yeah, I'll tie up my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be in debt. Been stabbed in the back bed, I'll show you what happens. Pass me the mic and I'll show you with action. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you could never own. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something.
4 days after our sighting, Coe and Aquarius were seen off Ardglass on the east coast of Ireland. Coe and Aquarius have been seen in the past off Anglesey, Wales, which is right opposite Ireland. In our next vlog, there's no surprise where we head to next to try and catch a glimpse of the boys.
For the things you know you love, do what you think is right, and see life do what you want. So give me all the scars, I'm a human being. Cover them with tattoos so you can't see. Knew it from the start, you had problems with me and the things I could be, I just wish I had seen. I feel this.
If you enjoyed our film, please give it a like, leave a comment and subscribe to follow our adventures.